Hey Mary, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for asking me to do this reading, and I hope it brings you some clarity about where the connection is at and what Andy's thinking and feeling right now. Just before I start, I just want to touch on one of your questions. Why are you connected? What's the nature of this connection? I don't like to go into this too much with people because I really do believe that that kind of discovery, what does this mean? Why are we connected? What are we meant to do together? I feel like that's part of your journey, and I don't actually feel like anyone outside of yourself can really decisively tell you that information. But having said that, often those kind of messages do come through clearly through the cards anyway. So we'll just see what comes up, and I will try and answer as many of your questions as I'm able to. So let's start with Andy. I'm going to check in with his headspace first, and then we'll ask some questions about him. So what is Andy's current headspace, please? Andy's current headspace. So we've got the Strength card coming through first. We've got the Five of Cups. We've got the Lovers. Andy's headspace, please. Andy's headspace. We've got the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this is really typical of what I do tend to see for the Divine Masculines, especially lately. It just seems like so many of them are building up strength and courage to step forward with some kind of gesture. And the Page of Pentacles really is a card that speaks of that gesture. Notice how the page is holding the Ace of Pentacles in his hand. He's getting ready to offer it out to his Divine Feminine, and the Ace of Pentacles represents that new beginning in the physical world that we just keep hearing about all the time. It is reversed here. I feel like there's a bit of hesitation there when it comes to stepping forward, either because he's just not feeling brave enough quite yet, or he's not really sure how you're going to receive that offer or gesture. But with the Lovers here, you know, it's clear that you are on his mind a lot. He wants this to be a romantic gesture. He does still have those feelings for you. He does see this as a romantic connection. We've also got the Five of Cups here, which suggests that he's doing a bit of reflection at the moment, looking back at the past, looking back at the decisions he's made, the ways that he's handled this situation with you, and he's wishing that he could go back and do things differently. He's focusing a little bit too much on what went wrong rather than the possibilities that you could have in the future here. And that sort of guilt, regret, that reflection could be one of the things that's holding him back a little bit as well. We will go into that in more detail in a minute. Now, what shall we ask first? I think let's start by asking how he perceives this connection with you. How is Andy perceiving the connection with Mary? How is Andy perceiving this connection? So we've got the Rebel reversed, which is interesting. How is he perceiving this connection with Mary? No, this is coming through quite slowly, which, you know, suggests that he's keeping his cards a little bit close to his chest here. Quite often when we see some kind of gesture that wants to be made here, the Divine Masculines can get a little bit protective about that and not want to talk about it too much. How is Andy perceiving this connection with Mary? Okay, really interesting. We've got the Consciousness card through there. I do actually have the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck there, which is a Union card, but it's reversed here. So I do feel like, although he acknowledges that there is this connection with you, he could be a little stuck on the details here, the physical obstacles that he's perceiving. I want this, but I can't quite figure out how to make this happen. And I do actually have the devil at the bottom of my other deck as well, which suggests ego-based thought patterns there that are creeping in for him and perhaps holding him back a little bit from doing what he really wants to do. So the rebel, this is the emperor from the traditional deck. This is a card that for me represents the divine masculine in his power. So to see this card reverse when we're asking how Andy's perceiving this connection, it makes me feel like he does acknowledge some kind of connection there, but he's not feeling worthy of that connection. He's kind of disappointed in himself. Going back to the Five of Cups there, he's not feeling good enough for this connection. But nonetheless, we've got turning in here, which is showing that there is some kind of a deep inner knowing there that won't go away. And there's a need here for him to come away from those ego-based thought patterns, those fears, doubts and insecurities that are holding him back in some way. He needs to detach from that and really drop into that inner knowing. We've also got consciousness here as well, which shows me the non-physical connection. So even though we can see that there's a bit of overthinking going on there, a little bit of a focus on the obstacles that he perceives, there is a lot of signs and synchronicities coming in for him that are reminding him of you and showing him that actually there's something a bit more to this connection than meets the eye. There could even be this higher power that's trying to bring you both back together. So there is an awareness there, but there's also a lot of overthinking. So what should we ask next? What was I going to ask next? What should we ask next? Let's ask what he's thinking, and no, that's what I'm going to ask last. I think what we should ask next is what needs to happen before Andy can come through with this offer or gesture that we can see in the headspace. What needs to happen first before Andy can step forward? Yeah, okay, so awareness has just popped, and it's popped alongside my union card from this deck. So he needs to kind of reach a deeper level of awareness about this connection. That's suggested to me that there could be some kind of awakening that he's needing to move through. He could be already starting to move through that, you know, that awareness could be coming online for him, because we have seen here that he's got this inner knowing. We've got the sharing card. What needs to happen before Mary and Andy can shift forward in some way? What does Andy need to do? What does he need to heal, move through, or experience? Yeah, this is definitely about the way he's perceiving this. New Vision is the Hanged Man, which for me often shows seeing things from a different perspective, more of a spiritual perspective. It's about zooming out and coming away from what the mind is saying, those negative thought patterns that tend to sabotage things. And it's zooming out, it's connecting to what your intuition is saying, it's seeing things from a different angle. And also the Hanged Man speaks of surrender as well, surrendering to what you feel in the heart. So this is, we've got awareness here too, so this is definitely about Andy's awakening. It's about becoming aware of what this connection means and why he feels it. And I do often see that this happens during separation cycles. Separation is a really good tool for really understanding this connection completely, because it's in separation that we really understand that no matter how much distance or time or silence goes between us, that connection still remains. It's still there no matter what. We've also got sharing here, which is showing there's a need for some kind of meaningful communication. He's definitely got feelings here, but he needs to speak on those feelings before things can shift forwards for you both. So let's ask now what he's thinking and planning when it comes to you. What is Andy thinking and planning? So we've got the Hierophant coming through. And that popped really quickly, considering how it's felt a bit like he's keeping his cards close to his chest so far. That card did come flying out of the deck. We've also got Integration, which is my union card from this deck. Now this is really interesting to me. Really interesting. We've got the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. He wants to meet you face to face. We've got two cards. It's kind of like we've gone from nothing to everything in 1 minute. We've got the Hierophant, which is showing me in this context commitment. And then we've got the integration card, union. When it comes to what he's thinking about with you, he's just got this knowing. He wants to be with you. He wants to commit to you. He wants this to work. He's thinking about the future. We've also got the Eight of Pentacles here, which is, for me, work. So I feel like he's having the same intuitions that you're having, that there's some need for you to maybe work together, or that the connections with work are a way to kind of open those doors towards communication so that you can be more present in each other's lives and then build from there. But he's feeling that need to really look you in the eye. He's definitely aware of this connection. It's almost like he just needs to be aware that, yeah, this is a spiritual connection. Okay, let's check in with you and see how you're doing. What is Mary's current headspace, please? Mary's current headspace. Ace of Wands. What is Mary's current headspace? Two of Cups reversed. Mary's headspace. Seven of Wands. Mary's headspace, please. Yeah, we've also got the Four of Wands reversed as well. It's really interesting. There's the Four of Wands and the Two of Cups are both union cards. We did see in Andy's energies just now a union card reversed, and we said, you know, he does feel this desire to be in union with you, whatever label he's using, but he could be a little bit mentally focused there on the obstacles that he's perceiving. You know, too much focused on the 3D, the reasons why this can't work, whether that's the age difference, the geography. You're both kind of sitting there thinking, I want this, but I just don't understand how the universe is going to set this up for us. But we do have the Seven of Wands here, which shows that, you know, no matter how impossible this seems, you feel that this is worth fighting for. You want to keep pushing and trying to make this work, and you're willing to do the work that's needed to clear these obstacles. With the Ace of Wands here in this context as well, there's a lot of inspiration coming in for you at the moment. You're feeling really motivated, you're focused on the future, and you're just really ready to take some kind of action. I feel like what's missing here, because we've got the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, is the clarity about what exactly do I need to do. I feel really inspired, I feel really motivated, but I'm just not sure what the right way to approach this is. So hopefully we can help you with that. Let's see what questions you've asked me. Let's get a message from Spirit for you. What does Spirit want Mary to know today? What does Spirit want to tell Mary? Message from Spirit for Mary. Even Spirit's being mysterious here. We've got playfulness. Message from Spirit. We've got breakthrough. Message from Spirit for Mary, please. One more card, please. Message from Spirit. Yeah, and there's that Hierophant again. That's really interesting. I don't know if you've been thinking about marriage or commitment, things like that, but Spirit's seeming to want to come through and talk about this. These two cards here are quite red, and red is the root chakra. So for me, the root chakra symbolises physical changes. So I do feel like Spirit's coming through here and saying to you, something is going to shift soon in the physical world, and that is going to help to shift things into much more of a commitment. Commitment is coming, but it's going to happen on the other side of some kind of breakthrough, a shift, something, and it feels like it's going to be kind of out of your control here, just something really clicking into place suddenly. And again, going back to the red, it's something in the physical. So it could be the geography sorts itself out, you have some kind of work opportunity, but just trust that that's coming, it's all going to be fine, there's nothing to worry about here. In the meantime, keep your energies really light and playful, because that's going to help to manifest this shift that will enable this commitment to come through. For the Divine Feminine, we do want to do practical things to help things along, but the guidance that always comes through from Spirit is about the energies. The Divine Feminine really works within the energetic realm. And what this is about here is manifesting this breakthrough through releasing any energetic resistance. And the way to do that is to keep your energy high vibrational and light. And then you're going to align to that breakthrough. So let's ask how you can strengthen the relationship with Andy. What's the guidance for Mary with this question? How can Mary strengthen the relationship with Andy? What could she do? So we've got the Ace of Cups coming through. How can Mary strengthen the relationship with Andy? Wow, we've got that work card coming through again. That really validates what you were thinking intuitively. Will work bring you together? I actually wrote down in my notes here, will work bring them together? It's really interesting that that's come through here. So let's just start with that. This is kind of on a practical level here, a message that, yeah, work is likely to be one of the main things that brings you both together. And look how it's arrived underneath that breakthrough card. It's possible that this breakthrough or shift that's coming for you is connected to work in some way. Either side of that, though, we've got something a bit more energetic again. With the Ace of Cups, it's all about you focusing on your inner work. I always see the Ace of Cups as the work that we do as individuals before we come together in union, and union is represented by the Two of Cups. So it's about filling those cups individually before you put them together, so there's no codependency, no kind of need for each other. You're just meeting one another as equals in all ways. And I know you've been working on yourself. This is about, you know, letting go of those patterns that you've experienced in the past, letting go of the fear of cycles repeating themselves, and just working on yourself so that you are happy in the now moment. You're already giving yourself everything that you need to fulfill yourself, whether Andy is by your side or not. So work on filling that cup, and that's going to really help Andy to do the same. Such is the nature of the connection. The more you work on yourself, the more you love yourself, the more that manifests across there with your counterpart. And again, this is about faith. For the Divine Feminine, this really is a journey of faith. And often, in order to get us into that place of faith, the clarity that we're looking for in the 3D is completely taken away from us. And that's so that we can drop into the heart and really trust this process, trust the connection, and trust the journey that we're on. So it's all about the energy for you. The more you can work with those energies, the more you're going to help things to move forward in some way. So let's ask your next question of what is your soul's purpose? Again, this could be something that you need to discover by yourself, because it's all about following your ideas and inspiration, following your passions. And I don't think somebody outside of yourself can really... I just don't think that somebody outside of yourself can say this is what you're meant to do. But let's ask anyway and see if we can get a clue. What is Mary's soul purpose in this lifetime? What can we know about this? What is Mary's soul purpose? Okay, we've got the Thunderbolt card coming through. And we've got guidance. Interesting. What else can we tell Mary about this? What can we tell Mary about her soul purpose, please? What can we tell Mary about the soul purpose? Okay, this is interesting. We've got the adventure card. This is a card that often shows me children are involved in some way. So this could be that you need to do some kind of work that's connected to children in some way. It could be that this is more of, you know, not connected to work, but it's a spiritual thing, something to do with children. connecting with children in some way. It could be to do with inner child healing and helping people to heal their inner children. This could also be just something really simple, like your soul purpose is to bring a rainbow child into the world. Children of twin flames are going to really change the world. So it could be that is what you've come here to do, to achieve this union and to bring this child into the world. We've also got thunderbolt and guidance here. So for me, this is telling you that there will be guidance coming to you about your soul's purpose. So watch out for this. It's going to come really like a flash of inspiration. You'll just suddenly be like, oh my God, I know exactly what I'm meant to do here. I know it. And it's just going to come in so clearly for you. So try not to stress about it too much. Don't worry. You can't miss it. You can't miss your life purpose and get it wrong. Your guides are going to make sure that you know what to do, okay? Let's check in with those joint energies now and see where the connection is at. What is the joint energy for Mary and Andy, please? Straight away, we've got that consciousness card. So the non-physical connection is very strong between the both of you, and it's something that you can both access right now. What is the joint energy for Mary and Andy? Yeah, look, we did explore the fact that there was a bit of ego-based thought patterns coming through. We can see that with the conditioning card, which is the devil from the traditional deck. So that's referring to fears, doubts, anxieties, overthinking, overanalyzing, focusing too much on the 3D. But look, we've got inner voice balancing that out. And then we've got creativity, the Empress. Let's take some from my other deck. What are the joint energies, please, for Mary and Andy? Oops. Ace of Cups reversed. Joint energies for Mary and Andy. Emperor reversed. We saw that card when we checked in with Andy's energies. Knight of Cups reversed. And the Empress again. That's really interesting. We've got two Empress cards here. This for me just really highlights what we just saw with your cards, the importance of your energetic work. I know you said you've been doing a lot of inner work and that you've really come into your power recently, and that is really shining through in these cards here. And this is happening for a reason. You're being pushed into your power like this so that you can really hold these energies stable for Andy while he goes through his side of the process, and so that you can manifest those shifts and breakthroughs that want to come through. So keep doing that inner work because it's having a really profound impact here on the joint energies. We've got the Ace of Cups reversed here, so there could still be some inner work that you're both asked to do right now. I feel like it's a little bit less for you because you've been actively doing it. There's not really a great deal left now. It's just a case of finding that joy in the present moment and being really content and at peace with how and when things happen. For Andy, it feels a bit more of an emotional thing, accessing those deeper emotions and being comfortable with them. And we can see here that I'm feeling a little bit for both of you here. There's a bit of a tug of war between the head and the heart. For you in particular, it's that intuition, feeling and sensing things are shifting, feeling and sensing that there's more to this connection than meets the eye and that you're meant to come together in this lifetime. But then those kind of logical thoughts that tug away at their intuition and threaten to pull you out of that inner knowing. And I feel like it's a little bit the same for Andy as well. He's thinking about this union, but his head is telling him, oh, it can't possibly work because X, Y, Z. So there's a little bit of a tug of war going on there that needs to be, well, the inner voice needs to win here. You both need to really surrender to that inner voice and really trust what you're feeling in your heart. Like I said, the energetic connection is really strong. Signs, synchronicities, amplified, possibly dreaming about one another. And, you know, you could be feeling Andy's energy. He could be feeling your energy too. For the masculine, that just feels like he's aware of your consistency, your stability, that unconditional love, you know, that sense of cheering him on from afar. The divine masculines can really feel that. you might be tuning into his kind of anxieties and heavy energy sometimes, is how it usually manifests for the feminine. We've also got this, again, romantic offer that wants to come through. The Knight of Cups is a super romantic card. It's communication that he wants to come through with, but it's reversed again because he's kind of stuck. We saw that in his cards. He doesn't really know how to do this, and he's not really sure about doing it. He doesn't know whether it's something that you want to. He doesn't have the strength and courage to do it, and he's a bit disappointed in himself about that. He's not feeling completely worthy of this connection, and his ego mind is kind of explaining to him all the reasons why he can't do this. So there's a lot of overthinking here, but the energy actually feels really nice. It really just feels like this ego stuff that's coming up is just coming up. It doesn't feel too much like either of you are completely invested in those thoughts. The overall energy that wins here is the love, the intuition. It's just a case of integrating that ego and learning to silence it. So let's check in with the blockages and see what needs to be addressed before you can come back to one another. What needs to happen so that Mary and Andy can reunite? What needs to happen first? Abundance. What needs to happen before Mary and Andy can come together? What are the blocks? Patience reversed. And the Miser. Let's take some from my other deck. What are the blockages that need to be addressed with this connection? Temperance reversed. Six of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. Really interesting that that's popped underneath the Patience card. I'll explain why in one moment. What are the blocks and issues that need to be addressed before Mary and Andy can come together? It's interesting, like I said to you, with the joint energies that, I was saying to you about the ego mind, and it didn't feel overly heavy. I'm not surprised that the ego mind hasn't come through here in the blockages section, because I really feel like that's just a process that you're both moving through. Learning why you're feeling these feelings, learning what these thoughts mean, learning how they're kind of holding you back a little bit, and why you shouldn't really listen too much to the ego mind. I don't actually feel like it's anything heavy or blocking the connection in any way, and the blockages section has really confirmed that for me. A lot of this is about energy, timing, and setting things up in the physical. With this Patience card in reverse, sometimes this can show us that you've got some concerns there about time frames and timelines, and there's maybe some frustration there, worrying about when is this going to happen. I really want this to happen soon. I'm fed up of waiting for this. But also, when this card popped, I was thinking perhaps we're looking at a timing issue here, waiting for something to click into place or something to happen before things can shift. And to see the Hermit underneath that card really makes me think that this could be connected to lockdowns and restrictions that might be in place that could be preventing you from getting to one another here. The Hermit often shows up as that isolation for me. So, that's largely out of your control there. It's just a question of waiting for those restrictions to be lifted so that you can get face to face. We saw that Andy wants to meet you face to face. So that could be one of the main things here that needs to be dealt with. We've also got the Six of Pentacles, which I feel connects to that. It's the Six of Pentacles for me shows an imbalance within the connection, usually because of communication. And with this card here, it really reflects this. See how he's dropping the Ace of Pentacles into that person's palm there. This is about, again, some kind of gesture that's going to restore the balance in the connection, which, again, I feel like Andy wants to do face to face. And that gesture, that communication is really going to shift things into a new trajectory, is the word that my higher self is giving me. We've got a couple of physical things here. We've got the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So from Andy's perspective, this is about his stability and security in the 3D world. It's what's going to help him to be consistent with you. There's something that needs to fall into place there within his physical world. It could be something to do with his work, his living situation, his finances, but he's trying to get that sorted so that he's got that stability, so that he can invite you into a stable environment. For you, it's about balancing out those energies, keeping yourself in a place of harmony, a place of peace and neutrality. That's going to really help to stabilize the energies. It's going to help to drop any resistance within the energies so that these shifts can manifest. We've got the Ten of Wands here, so one or both of you could be putting too much pressure on yourself to get things right within a certain time frame. It does feel like it's Andy, and that it could connect here to this situation with finances or work. A bit too much pressure on his shoulders there. He seems to be a bit of an overthinker. We've also got the Miser, which for me shows somebody has a guard up in order to protect their heart. So this is again going back to letting go of the past, letting go of the fears of the past repeating itself, lowering that guard so that you can open your heart and let this love in, despite any risks that you might be perceiving. Okay, so let's check in with Andy's higher self and see what he would like to say here. What does Andy's higher self want to say to Mary? What does Andy's higher self want to say? Express your love, going back to that communication, playfulness. What does Andy's higher self want to say to Mary? What messages do you have for Mary, please? Past life relationship, really interesting. What does Andy's higher self want to say to Mary? Oops. What does Andy's higher self want to say? These cards are quite slow to come to. Even his higher self is a bit keeping his cards close to his chest. We've got reconciliation. Come on, Andy's higher self. This is your chance to say something to Mary. What would you like to tell Mary, please? Honeymoon, interesting. And calling in your soulmate. And we've got very soon at the bottom of the deck. I love that. We did see earlier that there's a bit of a time frame here, a bit of a divine timing element, a timing issue that's out of your control. But Andy's higher self is coming through and saying, you know, that doesn't have to mean it's going to take ages, okay? Something could shift much sooner than it might seem, especially when the both of you are looking at the 3D and trying to figure things out from a 3D perspective. It might seem like things are a bit, not hopeless, but dragging on, and he's telling you, you know, that's not the case. Things are shifting. There's a couple of cards here that speak of you and the work that you can do to help this connection. We did see earlier in the reading the playfulness card from my Osho deck. It's all about you and your vibration, keeping your vibration light and playful as much as you're able to. And this makes you kind of act as an anchor for the energies, stabilising those energies while Andy sets things up in the physical and moves through any changes that are needed of him, and also drawing these shifts and breakthroughs to you like a magnet. So for you, for now, focus on the energies, focus on your alignment and your balance, and know that although you would probably prefer to do something more practical, that's actually one of the most powerful things that you can do for this connection. He's reassuring you that, you know, this separation, this lack of contact is going to end and you will be coming together. And yes, it will be romantic. It's going to be, a romantic relationship that you are moving into. And with Express Your Love here, this is that communication, that gesture that he wants to make. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. It's been coming through a few times in the reading, so he's definitely planning that, but it just feels like he needs to get a few things set up in his physical world first. We've also got past life relationship coming through here, which I find really interesting, because right at the start of the reading we did talk about Andy's awakening process. And you might have been thinking, oh, is he just starting to awaken? Or his higher self is saying, you know, he's awakened, okay? He knows that there's something special about this connection. You have known each other before. He knows that you have this soul connection and that you're meant to do something together in this life. We've also got honeymoon here, which I'm really happy about, because for me this card often signals travel. And I know that you've got a big geographical distance there. So he's saying to you here, there could be some kind of a trip on the horizon. We did see a couple of times throughout the reading that Andy wants to meet you face to face. So that is something that could actually be happening. And it could be happening sooner than you think. So with that said, I'm going to ask about the future next. I'm going to ask the cards to hone in on the next couple of months, and I'll just pick up as many messages for you as I can in the time that we've got left, and we'll see if the issue of travel comes up then. What is coming up in the next couple of months for Mary and Andy, please? Wow, look at this. We've got that Hierophant card coming through. Commitment. It's really interesting that that card in particular has come through a few times in the reading. Perhaps in the past he's shied away from commitment, but that's definitely something that's coming in this connection. What is coming up in the next couple of months for Mary and Andy, please? What is coming up? We've got the Innocence card, which is the sun from the traditional deck. This is a promise of lighter energies. You know, things becoming a bit easier to navigate, feeling a bit fresher. It's also a card that for me often shows, you know, new beginnings, a lightness coming in the energies. What is coming up in the next couple of months for Mary and Andy? I've got the Outsider reversed here. I'm kind of feeling that this is somebody opening those doors to communication. At the moment, you both feel quite closed off from one another. You don't really know how to open those doors and walk through them, but somebody's going to open that door and initiate the communication. And we do have the Fool with that as well. Someone's going to take some kind of action. Yeah, I do feel like this is Andy. We've got the guilt card coming through with that as well. So he's going to apologise. We literally started the reading on a message of guilt. He does acknowledge that not communicating with you is causing these fears and doubts to come up. It's hurting you in some way, and he's going to apologise to you about that. We know already that he doesn't like the way that he's handled this situation, and he's going to want to put that right. What else is coming up over the next couple of months for Mary and Andy? What else is coming up during this time frame? I can just feel that these messages are coming through so carefully so as to not reveal too much detail. We do have the sharing card, again going back to meaningful communication coming through. What else can we know about this? Another card here which for me symbolises apologies. So he's definitely beating himself up here. One of the things you could do in the meantime, because guilt has come through so often, is to send forgiveness through the joint energy. The Ho'oponopono meditation is a good one for that. What else can we tell Mary about the next couple of months? we are approaching the end of the reading, so this is likely to be the last card. What is the last message that wants to come through for Mary before we finish the reading? The last message of the reading is the integration card from this deck. This is my twin flame card, my union card. Just because of all of the symbols there, it really does scream twin flame. So if you've been thinking throughout this reading, you know, is this typical of what a twin flame would experience? Is this the journey that I'm on? This could be a sign to confirm that knowing for you. It could also be a message of reassurance that over the next couple of months, this union is going to begin manifesting and unfolding for you and Andy. And I also have the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is that offer, gesture, communication that's going to restore the balance to the connection. I know I said that was the last card, but then we've got intensity underneath that, which is very quick movement on the other side of that. So it looks set to all be unfolding beautifully. You know, there's nothing here to fear, to worry about. I hope that this reading has brought you some clarity and some guidance, and that it's, you know, helped to clarify some questions in your mind. Do let me know though if you have any questions, and I'll speak to you soon.